Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Play part 7 of Let's Play BattleTech. In the last we were looking through the our ship to see what we do. So let's talk to Yang.
Need something?
Hey, boss. Welcome to the Mech Bay, my own little piece of heaven right here on the ship. Something I can help you with? I want an assessment on the Leopard. How much trouble are we in? Don't know. I mean, we're doing alright for the moment. But to give it a few months, maybe a year. You know how it goes. Eventually everything falls apart. Maybe our drive system will give out. Maybe some debris will perforate the hull. Who knows? But on that day, we're going to need to be able to cover our repair costs. And if we can't, well, that'll be that. Got a few questions about the Mech Bay. Yeah? Then hit me with them. I'll do what I can to answer. I mean, I don't want to wax ProTech or nothing. But the Mech Bay is where the magic happens. Boss. Oh, it happens, boss. It's the beating heart of the mercenary outfit. Anything I should know about the mech bays themselves? Beyond each crucible holding one battle mech, not much. It's all about capacity. The more mech bays we have, the more mechs we can keep battle ready. And the more mechs we have battle ready, the more flexibility you have in your deployment options. Let's say we had two blackjacks, for example. A decent medium mech for sure. I know your family gave you yours. One could be loaded out with lots of energy weapons for using cooler environments where they can bleed, heat quickly. The other identical blackjack could be loaded without ballistic weapons that require ammo but generate less heat. Smart for deploying in warmer climates or in vacuum where heat dissipation is slower. Why use mech storage? A few reasons. First, we have limited capacity in the mech base, so we need to overstock for eventual sale or use in the future. Second, we don't pay upkeep costs in the mechs in storage. That's a business thing, though not my department. Third, and this is important, whenever we pick up partial mech salvage from the battlefield, I put it in storage for you. If we gather or buy enough partial mech salvage to complete a battle mech chassis, my team will assemble it right away. You let me know if you want to keep it in storage or have it ready for combat. Battle mechs are expensive as hell, so assembling one out of salvage is our best bet for expanding our roster. What happens when a mech gets into ready from storage? When you send a mech chassis into storage, our mech techs dismount all of his weapons, equipment, and place them in the inventory for you to use on other chassis. A chassis can stay in storage indefinitely, and don't worry about storage capacity, boss. I'll make it fit, don't you worry. Now, getting a stored battle mech ready for combat is a different animal. My techs need a couple of days to bring an empty chassis up from storage. Once the chassis is back in the mech bay, you'll need to select its loadout from our equipment inventory so we can start a refit. The time and cost of a refit is dependent on the type and amount of equipment you choose. So let's talk about something else then. I've been wondering about the components you put on our mechs. One of my favorite topics. In the mech bay, you can browse all the equipment you have available in the inventory. There are two types of common components I can install on battle mech: weapons and equipment. Let's talk about ballistic weapons. Ballistic weaponry such as autocannons pack a good punch, generate little heat, and can destabilize an enemy if they hit hard enough. But ballistic weapons are, you know, ballistic, so they require ammo, and ammo can explode if it takes a hit in the combat, which is bad news all around. Ballistic weapons are also pretty heavy and can take up a lot of space not on a mech. Strengths and weaknesses, boss. Strengths and weaknesses. Let's talk about energy weapons. Energy weapons don't use any ammo, but they generate a lot of heat. You may need to invest in additional heat sinks keep your mech cool if you choose an energy-heavy loadout. Since their intense beams are coherent light, energy weapons are great for cutting things up, but they aren't much good at destabilizing an enemy. The particle projector cannon is the one big exception to that rule. In addition to this massive damage it can inflict, a hit from the PPC can destabilize an enemy and maybe even slow it down for a bit. The PPC generates a metric shit ton of heat, but it's worth it, boss. And if it wasn't enough, it's a mild EM punch that screws with the enemy's targeting system. Tell me about missile weapons. Missile weapons are my favorite. Yeah, they require ammo and they generate moderate heat, but the pounding they can deliver can destabilize an enemy faster than most other weapons. And having multiple projectiles in a short means you're almost always guaranteed at least a single hit. Long-range missiles are capable of indirect fire. If one of your units is a line of sight on an enemy, it can act as a spotter for the LRM-equipped units that don't. With a spotter, a mech equipped with LRMs can stay behind cover and arc its missiles to hit the enemy. A spotter can increase your launcher's effective range too. Granted, the enemy can do the same to you, but that's someone else's problem. I don't want to sell short-range missiles short, though. They can guarantee incredible impact, and they do great damage, but you've got to be within knife fight range to use them. Tell me about support weapons. Support weapons are lighter than the others, small lasers, machine guns, that kind of thing. I programmed our targeting computers to automatically fire them after a melee attack if they're activated. I've seen commandos order refits that remove most conventional weapons to double down on support weapons. With the right melee enhanced components, they can field monsters capable of point-blank devastation. Tell me about the other types of equipment you can refit on a mech. It's a long list, boss. I suggest you check the store in every system we travel to. You never know what you'll find. I can install larger, stronger cockpits to reduce the injuries of our MechWarriors will take. Arm actuators that increase melee damage. Range fighters that increase the range at which the enemies can be visually acquired. All sorts of stuff. I'll take up crucial slots on the battle mech. Some add weight too. Keep your eyes open for them and give them a good once over before you buy one, so you know what you're getting into. Now, putting powerful weapons and equipment on your mechs is fine and all, but remember, the trade-off is always armor. You know how they say the best defense is a strong offense? They aren't on the battlefield. Don't skimp on the armor, boss. All that expensive equipment will get reduced to junk if the enemy's first salvo. I heard that some manufacturers have developed better versions of some weapons. True that. Different manufacturers tweak their weapons to deliver more damage, have higher accuracy to stabilize the enemy, a bunch of stuff. The trick is finding them. They're rare out there here in the periphery, so when I see one in a store or a salvage pile, I always mark it with a plus for you, so you can identify it easily. And some equipment is rarer than others. The more pluses a symbol I'm marking with, the rarer and more useful they are. Keep your eyes peeled. You'll never know what you're going to find. Now, let's talk about something else. And, oh, fucking hell, this guy's a lot of shit. How do I repair damage after battle? Whenever you return from mission, stop by the mech bay here and tell me which mechs you want to have repaired. I'm not going to assume anything. You're on this outfit, so you tell me what to spend time and money on. Okay, that's not completely true. If I see armor missing from a battle mech, I'm going to repair it automatically. It's standard operating procedure, and we have so much scrap armor laying around that you should consider armor repairs to be free. Now, if you tell me to repair a mech containing destroyed equipment, the techs will strip that off automatically too. I'll list the equipment they strip, but you're going to want to replace it with something. Anyways, like I was saying, armor repairs are free. Internal structure, on the other hand, takes time and C-bills to fix. If a mech structure is damaged or missing, I'll flag it for you in orange just to order the repair. Confirm the time and costs, and I'll get into the work queue. What if I want to change the mech's loadout? Can I refit it with new weapons and equipment? Oh, now... Oh, fuck. And now you're talking, boss. You bet you can refit a mech. You can repair it at the same time, too. Just select a battle mech and order the refit. You know what? Now, we'll finish this one, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll get on to some contracts. But hopefully there's no more people to talk to. What can I do in the mech lab? The mech lab is where you let me know what sort of modifications you want to make to our stable of battle mechs. I can install new weapons and equipment, add or remove armor location by location, pretty much anything you want. All it takes is time and money. We've got plenty of both, right? Are there limits on how I can refit a mech? It's hardware, Blackjack. Of course there are limits. Your biggest constraints are the chassis weight and its hard points. I can't make a battle mech as heavy as I want. Negative. A mech chassis can support only so much tonnage in weapons, armor, and equipment. So you need to keep overall weight in mind when designing a battle mech loadout. If your design is over the chassis weight rating, we can't accept the work order. Now there are ways of making things fit, of course. Trade-offs can be made, but you've got to be careful. We have the ability to remove armor from individual locations in order to squeeze more on or bigger weapons on, but less armor is less armor. You don't want to wind up with something that blows over in a strong breeze. Trust me, on that I've seen often enough to know. What's the hard point again? Each location of a battle mech contains one or more hardpoint weapon mounts called hardpoints. Hardpoints are only designed for one specific weapon type, ballistic energy, missile, and support. However, most mechs contain locations with more than one hardpoint, so you have some flexibility in what you can mount there. How do I know what a mech is good at in the first place? Good question. There are a lot of different battle mechs out there, and it's hard to know what they're built to do unless just by looking at them. I mean, I can, of course, but I'm me. You, on the other hand, are going to need some help. Thankfully, I'm a helpful guy. If you check your technical readouts in the mech lab, you'll find that I've included some thoughts about each mech off their rack purpose or stock roll. There are only options, mind you, but you might find them useful. I've also provided access to an itemized list of the equipment that a mech normally carries when you buy it as stock. Think of it as Mech's basic recipe. What do I do after a refit, or what happens after a refit? Once you confirm your work order, it'll be placed in a queue with the other repairs and refits on your timeline. Remember, our mech will be unavailable for combat until its work order has been complete, so plan your refits carefully. I suggest queuing them up before we head to the next system for our travel time efficiency. To use our time travel efficiently. If you want to change a mech's placement in the work queue, select Manage Tasks under the timeline to prioritize or cancel work orders. How long do repairs and refits normally take? It depends on the mech bay conditions you're working in. A good mech bay with advanced scaffolding and equipment is faster than the one you'll find on a standard Leopard. I'll display our mech bay's efficiency in mech tech points on your travel display under the finances and crew morale readouts. The higher the rating, the faster the repairs. Right, you seem to know your way around the battlefield, Yang. Any advice? Sure, the better you lead in combat, the less work I have to do when it's over. Let's talk about heat. Yeah, let's talk about it. I can't emphasize this enough. Watch your heat. Your MechWarriors are sitting on walking fusion reactors out there. Using jump jets, fire, and weapons generates heat. Sometimes lots of it. If one of your mechs gets too hot, you could do damage to its internal structure, or worse, shut down the engine in the middle of combat, leaving it a sitting duck. How can I affect heat in combat? Each weapon system on a battle mech can be toggled on or off each time it takes action. Most MechWarriors keep the heat low by toggling off weapons with lower chances to hit, but sometimes you'll have a solid chance to hit with everything on your arsenal. That's when you've got to experiment by toggling a few off to make sure you can stay below your red line. And watch the terrain. Moving your mechs into water or over ice helps cool them down too. How can I make a MechWarrior more heat efficient? Know your mech's heat rating in the mech lab and install more heat sinks on it if you find that it runs hot into combat. Heat sinks vent plasma from the mech's engine and do a lot to dissipate the build-up from jump jets and weapon fire. Heat sinks are your friend. You can obviously change the weapons on the mechs to use more heat-friendly parts, but obviously that'll change how you use that mech in combat. Trade-offs, boss. It's all about trade-offs. Let's talk about mech stability. Yeah, stability is a smart thing for a commander to understand, boss. Getting pummeled by weapon fire is a good way for a mech to become destabilized. Walking over rough terrain doesn't help much either. Destabilized mechs can't sprint in combat, and they're vulnerable to falling if hit hard enough while in that state. To make battle mechs less vulnerable to weapon fire. There's a few ways I can think of: evasion, cover, and bracing. Let's talk about evasion. The short-term version of this: the further a unit goes, the more evasive it becomes. Shooting a moving target is hard, and shooting a faster target is harder. When you order a mech to move in combat, note the number of angled chevrons in your command software assigns it. The more chevrons that are displayed, the harder it'll be to hit the same hit. Same for the enemy. There we go. Fucking, I can't believe I didn't see this full stop. That's my fault. Sensor locking an enemy removes 2 of its evasion chevrons and makes it easy to hit. Same goes for units, so be careful. Cover, battle mechs are kind of big, aren't they? Yep, but they're big and scary and dangerous. They're harder to hit standing in a forest and other terrain features. Standing behind buildings or hills is good too. If the enemy can't see you, they're going to have a hard time hitting you. It's all about line of sight. Think about it. Think about it all the time. Your enemy is, I guarantee it. If they can't see you, a red eyeball will appear above them in your command software. Mastiff taught me to brace my mech, but that doesn't make it harder to hit. No, bracing your mech won't make it harder to hit you, but it should buffer some of the damage you'll take by half or so. So think about it. And there we go, that's the entire tutorial for him. So let's go back to, let's get this repairs done.
Talk to you later.
So, let's go to the bays. Let's look at the blackjack first then. So guess we want to refit. Aha, yes. There we go. Let's get all this shit repaired, and we'll put the jump jets on either leg. The M laser there. There we go. Confirm that's going to cost us 205. Fuck it, let's get it done.
I'll get it in the schedule.
We need this son of a bitch first. Let's refit this little shit. Jesus Christ, we're gonna run ourselves quite low on the money scale. What's this? PPC. Right. Yeah, some pretty expensive shit right there, but we do need them.
Shouldn't be too hard.
So let's go to the navigation, and we're not going to talk to what's her face. We're just going to look at the map. So this is what we know of. I don't know if there's any more than this, but you never know, there might be. So we could travel to here. It's going to take us 12 days to get there. First things first, though, we want to understand the finances. So let's go look at the finances. So it looks like we're going to be spending 254 grand a month. Right now, we can pay that off. Morale's at 25. We're at normal. Looks like everything's okay. Let's look at our reputation. We're at 15. We have... Everyone is indifferent to us, which makes sense. Though you'd think the Organ will... Oh no, the Organ aren't on there, so... That's fair. And we can customize the company. Yeah, our primary colors are going to be black. Black's harder to fucking see. Come on, come on, there we go. Same over here, come on. Let's see what logo I want to have. Yeah, so in the next part we definitely need to get some killing going, because we've done a lot of talk in the last two parts, so I want to get some good old-fashioned fighting going on. This logo is very important. If it wasn't so important, I wouldn't look through and find another one. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll go with that one. And we'll keep ourselves a Blackjack Marauders for now. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the let's at least look at the contracts. Let's see what contracts we have on options for the next part. So right now we have a patrol that's worth half the thing. Max pay 183 grand. Max salvage 2 out of 10. We believe there is a pirate lance operating on Bellerophon. within a region we control. All Marek operations are at risk as long as this lance is allowed to move unimpeded. Patrol the area, find the enemy lance, and eliminate it. It's a straightforward battle, Commander. Finding a military lance in a backwater like this should be no challenge at all. So ladies and gentlemen, in the next part, that's what we're going to do. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys then.